Today I want to talk about the little voice in the head, the judge, the one taking every possibility to give its opinion, to let you know what it thinks about it, to criticize the actions you've taken or the results you've accomplished. And of course, it's about our relationship with that little voice. Because that little voice resembles, for example, the authorities in our lives, or the past authorities in our lives. Possibly our parents in the past, or your boss, or your partner, or whoever you think his or her opinion is of value. And that's what we internalize, because if we can simulate that little voice, we can avoid criticism from those people. So basically what we do is we internalize these voices of judgment. It could also be people on Facebook, on social media. One way or another, we have this voice that comes at us on a regular basis, and it can be dramatic, and it can be less dramatic depending on your setup, the way that your internal system is programmed. And how do you relate to that? How do you relate to that voice? Because what we do, if it's another person's voice, we start to argue, or we start to defend ourselves, or we start to explain ourselves. And we tend to do the same with these internal voices. But the problem is that if you have an internal voice, you also feed it. You also give it energy, because indirectly you're saying what this little voice says is of value. And because of its value, you keep feeding it, you keep energizing it. And because you energize it, it stays active. So if it's a voice that is very critical, of such an extent that it actually influences the way you think about yourself, the way you feel about yourself, your self-confidence, then it can become problematic. And the way to get that voice to become functional again, because this voice is not your enemy. It's an instrument. You ask the voice, is it safe to cross the street right now, right? And then the voice says, yeah, sure, go, right? So it's got a purpose. This judging, it's got a purpose. It's got a very practical purpose. But once it's about you, it's about the alleged you, by the way, because that person that it talks about is not even who you really are. It's just who you think you are. It's just a self-image. The way to deal with that voice is to just let it talk. If it's really bad, just sit down and write down whatever the voice says. So if it's very critical, if it's very active, just sit down with a pen and write down everything it says. Everything it says. And you ask, what else? And you keep writing. What else? The little voice keeps criticizing. Everything will come out. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're stupid. Or you're ugly. Or you're fat. Or you're a disgrace. You're a loser. You're this. You're that. Whatever it is, right? And you just keep writing. And after a while, you will realize, you will see that the little voice stops. It doesn't have any inspiration anymore because it is not resisted. It doesn't get any new energy. So you don't resist it. You just write down stuff and you're open to whatever it has to say. It's got some momentum. And after a while, this little voice just stops talking. And that's when peace returns. And you do that on a regular basis. And you will notice that this little voice doesn't really have the hold on you like it did before. And that's especially because you don't resist, because resistance keeps it alive. That's about the little voice. What does the little voice talk about? It's talking about the person, right? Everything is related to the person's results, the person's actions, the person's habits, the way the person looks, the life situation of the person. Everything is related to that person. And then we need to ask ourselves, who is that person? Who is that person? Because really what you have is a self-image, right? It's even in the language. It's about self, but it's not about you. It's not about your essence. It's not about who you really are. It's about the person. And this person is a fabrication of the mind. It's something that you have created most of the time with help of others, other people's opinions that you've taken as truth. And it's like a Christmas tree. You have decorated a Christmas tree with all kinds of labels, right? And this Christmas tree is you, yourself, your self-image. And the darker labels are in the back because you don't want anybody to see them. And the shiny ones are in the front. You post on Facebook. And you show the people because they're popular. And popularism means that that you're safe, because eventually it's all about safety. The little person needs to be safe. So the moment you think or you believe that the thought you, the person that you think that you are, is really who you are, then you're in danger, because this person will die. It gets older and it will die. It gets popular, it gets less popular, and eventually it will vanish and nobody will remember it, which is threatening as soon as you identify with it. So that's another part of the problematic little voice inside the head. It's like a play of an imagined self and judgment about the imagined self. And all the while you are the witness to it all. You're like the third entity, although there are no entities. The voice is a voice, is a manifestation of energy, and the little person is only a conglomeration of thoughts that look like an individual. So you're the witness to it all. You're the witness to this whole game that's taken place. And the more you realize that, the more free you will be, and the less vulnerable you will be for the little voice that always has a judgment about you, about the world, about your life situations, about the people around you, everything. So investigate. Who am I? Sit down, meditate, and investigate. Who am I? And see what you can come up with. And as soon as you come up with a thing, ask yourself, who is witnessing this? Right? And this way you find more and more of the things that you're not, which seems to be you, but it's not. And that's liberation. That is the the ultimate liberation. The ultimate liberation, and it's not even a trick. It's the highest truth. It's the highest truth of what you are. But don't take my word for it, because otherwise it's just another religion, another belief, another dogma. Find out for yourself, who am I? It's called self-realization, enlightenment, whatever name you want to give it, but just a realization that the little person that you think that you are, and you think that other people are as well, because it goes both ways. As soon as you realize that it's all a game, it's all it's all an illusion. Yeah, that's pure liberation. So from my heart to yours, enjoy it today, and see you next time.